is so hyped about a big all-star lineup, but this crowd raising them up is really only going to increase the fall if they prove disappointing results going out first.
Prepare for battle.
Jacob Blitz.
It's well, the new roster of Secret obviously with much more limited success than EHOME, but yeah, I think EHOME needs to prove, especially coming up, they have something to prove, right? Especially when Wings is in the winner bracket, or rather, they won their first game. So in that regard, I do think EHOME needs to prove themselves with their roster of old players.
Blitz, what are your expectations here from this draft? We have Secret running with the Draw Ranger strat that came out last pick. Do you think EHOME, are they in real danger here of being run over by a Draw Ranger strat like this?
Yeah, there's always the possibility when you have these kinds of lane setups, especially when you get the Invoker, the Draw, he can really just snowball to a win, and it's a really easy way to play around. And I know Secret for a fact, it's kind of just the way that they want to play, where they can win the lane, snowball off of the individual skill, and then make plays together. This time around, I think the draft adjustments that they made from Game 1 to Game 2 from yesterday are a lot better. Now they have disables. They don't solely have to just rely on the Nyx Assassin or the Tidehunter. This time around, they bring Puppey with the Earthshaker, you've got the Lion, and it just feels like they have more big play heroes now.
Team Secret rushing into their rune at the top lane. You see a clean split here. What is the plan for some of our rotating heroes? We have Puppey on the Earthshaker. Obviously, his impact is going to be need to felt in the mid lane. Death Prophet's not the easiest hero to go up against in the mid lane.
It's not, but it's just as much to just create the space that an Invoker needs, potentially even just sitting behind him. But I don't think there's a lot of roam coming out on the middle lane, so it's going to be pretty farm orientated for the first part of the game. I think both sides are also going to be fairly happy with that. They don't really want to. I mean, they want to win the lane with Bristleback, but that's about it.
A specialty here, Old 11, he's done this a time or two before, pulls the lane from behind the tier 1 tower and secures himself what could be a fast level 2. See whether or not our support is able to output any denies.
I think what's interesting about the draft is that I don't think EHOME expected the Invoker pick. When you're a Chinese team and with Chinese players, going to players' individual streams isn't when they're international players streaming on Twitch, for instance. It's not the natural thing to do. They do have Ice in the roster, though.
Already, Old 11 is going to be hexed up by Pylite Dine. There's not much follow-up there without the secondary disable. In fact, Old 11 is now challenging Pylite Dine, runs into him, meets a tango, and runs right back.
They're just poking and prodding right now. I think this is just the feeling out process for most teams where it's Game 1. Both teams didn't expect to probably be here just because of the history that both teams have, and Fissure doesn't connect mid, at least the block anyways, but it is going to force Old Chicken to use the salve, and this drawer especially, it looks like the Invoker should do pretty well for himself.
Yeah, they really seem to be setting up our tour for success. We saw some of that from the previous series, that they do like to make sure that our tour has a good time in this mid lane. And despite going up against a Death Prophet between the Draw Ranger Aura and the Earthshaker, it seems the helping hand will be enough for our tour to at least draw even. So far, CS pretty close.
Right now, this draw not really going to get contested too much. The Doom is now going to make his way up here, but it's hard to open up on this, especially when you don't know where the Earthshaker is guaranteed in mid lane.
Just like that, Old Chicken, he moves forward with the Fear type and a 3-man game with the Sunstrike. He's going to be able to land it. Old Chicken tries to juke his way through the river, but it's not going to happen. Our tour, he gets the first blood.
Really well done by Secret overall. In the last series that we saw when they played against Empire, it really felt like they weren't able to get Universe involved, and I know, Jacob, you were a little bit disappointed with his performance in general because it just felt like he wasn't playing a part of the team, but this time, setting up for the first blood, making that rotation.
I think it's safe to say it was probably one of the worst games that Universe has ever played in his entire career, so yeah, being disappointed is putting it mildly, actually. So for Secret to come out guns blazing in this one is important also for him, I think. Having the debut on this star-studded roster.
The rotations of Secret so on point. The Sunstrike blows up the Bat Rider, but still, they get the kill on the Lion. Secret are trying to punish EHOME every single time they play aggressive like that. Old Chicken, he's going to be thinking twice the next time he tries to move forward and Spirit Siphon up the Invoker like he did, and now the top lane, even the Bat Rider is going to be questioning himself if he starts trying to harass the Lion back.
I guess the downside for this is that even though the Bat Rider got the XP there, he's not really contesting Eternal Envy, and it's making Doom's job even harder because Ice, he wants to get in this lane and contest it as much as he can. So whenever the bat is dead or just not on the deck, it sort of just slows down his timings. Old 11 does have the stack to go back to though, and he's already got Trinkle Boots completed too.
Yeah, he's pretty farmed. I like the initial trick with the Firefly where you just pull the wave. Some bad riders go for the sticky napalm instead, just because they're afraid that if you end up with the Firefly, you can't go back to the lane.
A fight over the rune. Pylai Die going to be hit by the Spirit Siphon. The Fissure is going to separate the two though, and Old Chicken is just going to have to suffice with just an illusion rune to be picked up. Still no bottle for him. The bottle rune is going to be tagged by Fenrir.
But even with Secret being ahead at this point, I think it also, even if this was a stalemate, if this was just maintaining status quo, that would benefit them. Getting farm and levels is all they want right now.
What about our bottom lane? We haven't talked about it too much. Universe against Lonham's Bristleback. Once again, EHOME continuing the trend of picking up really aggressive carries for Lonham.
I think it's difficult for Universe to fully contest this lane. You're not going to get a lot of denies or anything like that, especially since the Bristle's been largely left alone. But he's still going to get his, and most importantly, this hero depends mostly on the rotations more than it does the pure laning phase. Your laning phase is always going to be above average because of the Nature's Call when it comes to dealing with supports, but it doesn't even look like they're focusing too much on this lane, which...
Across, Akur going to be ganked up by Ice and Fenrir. There's no way out for him here. Drops the Sunstrike at the last second, but it's not even close to landing in EHOME. They split ways. Ice heading deeper into the jungle. It's actually going to get a ward behind the tier 1 tower for potentially more dives in the future.
I think part of that was set up too, just because the bottom lane was pushed in and the Nature's Prophet was
11,
away.
you had to be careful against the Drow Ranger. Those frost arrows not letting the Bat Rider escape. And have a quick breather now.
That rotation from the Nature's Prophet, that makes all the difference right there, is they're able to pick up the kill, they get it on the Puppy, and he's definitely one of the few players, even playing the 5 position, where you want him to try to get as much farm as he can just because of his potential for the big plays.
Yeah, exactly. Earthshaker with levels and a quick blink, or even just Arcane Boots to even out the lanes and be able to spam without going back. Really beneficial. And then to go back to the bottom lane, that was sort of a dream scenario for Universe, I think. Going up against the Bristleback Winter Wyvern lane isn't going to put a lot of pressure on you, so you're going to be able to get both that farm and level up on you, and then, you know, TPing around for the kills, participating in them, getting the experience and the shared gold. It's going to be a good game for Universe up until the point where Bat Rider becomes a threat around the map.
And the Bat Rider's already been slowed down for sure. As we can see, he's having to rely entirely on stacks, but this one isn't even that much for him.
The one downside for this type of style that Old 11 likes to utilize is he really wants to get in the lane and try to make something happen. Sometimes it does feel as though he's forcing it a little bit too much. Instead of being a little bit more patient, allowing Ice to get set up with the creep, it feels like he's jumping the gun a little bit.
Seems like really good for heroes that don't have a very specific item timing like the Bat Rider does. When he's able to play super aggressive, he's forcing a lot of attention to the top lane, and well, apparently Ice has made a friend.
I can't tell if he's serious, and I'm still not sure why the crowd is like cheering that.
Puppy, what a kind soul. To save the cockroach.
Friend of the animals, the Chen player, no surprise.
Old Chicken and Ice. Another wraparound here for Ice. This time, smoking up with the mid are going to head to bottom lane now. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to catch out the Furion, but this will be kind of a real quick surprise push. If, sure enough, Old Chicken pops out of the jungle. Let's loose with that Exorcism, and it may not be that Secret can get anything in return. With the Exorcism already set up, I doubt they can rotate. Maybe they can get Old 11, though. Go for the tier 1 after that. Yeah, there it is. The Fury build comes in once again. Universe displaying his global impact in the game.
The trade-off here too is that they had to use the DP ult for bottom, but not that big of a commitment from Team Secret. And on the way too, they pick up the kill onto the Bat Rider.
And you gotta ask yourself, is that a questionable play by?
Oh no, Lonham, he's being stunned up. There's so much damage with this Drow Ranger. He gets to save with the Winter Wyvern, but it doesn't matter. The pure damage from the Sunstrike cuts right through
sort of a strategical misplay by Old 11 on the Bat Rider. All he needs to do is stay back and avoid being killed while they're pushing the bottom lane because they know the tower isn't contested.
Oh, but he's got the lasso. Ice wasn't actually helping him out, but now he's going to come in. The tower is taken by the Dire, but Artur, he's actually going to be able to get away. The Ice Wall plays him down the turnaround. They've got the impale on the Old 11. He can't go anywhere. He's so damn slow. And Artur gets the bolt, the best world, and now Secret getting even more. Now Fenrir's going to go down as well. Secrets! They are hitting so damn fast with this Throw Ranger lineup, just like that. Boom, boom. Tier 1s on both sides, both top as well as mid. Towers in both, or kills in both of these lanes as well. And now Secret even pressuring the Tier 2.
I think these are some minor errors by EHOME because they know that when the catapult comes at top, especially with the Drow being level 6, they're going to want to get aggressive on that area. And the Bat Rider, I believe the play there is just the Firefly, run away, reset, because you know that the rest of your team has committed fully to that bottom lane. And then to lose a different hero on top of that, it just feels like things are kind of just not shaking up in their favor in the laning phase.
Yeah, individual bad decision making. Also, like, just see the damage output coming out from, for instance, the Nature's Prophet, plus 65. It's as if every ranged hero is running around with a double damage rune. They're really utilizing that, as you were saying, Austin. Pushing the other 2 towers and then just making a quick process of the Bat Rider.
Is this a problem with EHOME's rotations around the map? Are they just not on point here, or are they just getting picked too much that it doesn't matter?
I think most of it just comes back to the fact that they're maybe just a little bit disconnected. Like, one person wants to make this play, Old 11 wants to try to defend that top tower, but the rest of his team has already committed the exorcism to bottom. They just have to, maybe it's a communication thing and they just kind of have to get on the same page.
Yeah, so where did EHOME go from here then, Jacob?
I mean, right now they need to wait for the ISO timings. They desperately need this blink back up on the Bat Rider so they can blink in.
Don't tell me he's going to run into that Sunstrike, still sprouted up, he has no way out. Time and time again, Secret outnumbering their opponents and claiming these easy picks.
And see, despite Lanham being the one-position bristleback, he doesn't really have the farm to back up. Like, he's not tanky enough yet. Not at all, actually, with this Draw Aura. Whereas Arteezy has the Midas up and running for him, there's Drums of Endurance on the Nature's Prophet, so they have their first basic item. And the only one that... There's actually no one on EHOME's lineup that boasts anything but boots and a bottle.
Even the Death Prophet getting steadily far behind, and this is not a hero that you necessarily want to have a bad laning phase with. And maybe not behind, but definitely not where she wants to be. More importantly, the Bat Rider, 10 minutes is coming up, still doesn't have that blink dagger available. And that's just going to slow their timings in general. They're going to go for this smoke. Ice doesn't have the Doom available yet. Thinking maybe they can still get a kill on a Pylite die. But the angle for this even just feels a little bit off.
I mean, the fact that Pylite Die is able to threaten the Death Prophet solo, thanks to the global presence of the Sunstrike, they're actually going to be able to come in. Finger Death goes out. They do have the cold embrace, though. Puppy thinking about running in, but he's going to be stopped in his tracks. Fenrir puts a stop to that one, but still, Artur is able to claim that kill. Now the Exo Flame goes out. Gets a bit of damage, almost enough to finish up Old 11. Artur first the last hit and moves on to Lana. Another stun comes through, and another kill for Secret.
And even at the end there, the Winter Wyvern not really sure what to do as Secret just swarm onto that mid lane. No openings available for them at all as the Doom wasn't even level 6. They didn't have the Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider, and even more than the 4 kills, it's going to mean an immediate Roshan.
A Roshan at 12 minutes essentially. I don't see EHOME being able to stop this anyway. Look how fast it's going down.
And it's not just that, right? They have 2 towers down, the score is 12-2, and they're getting this 11-minute Roshan. It's a complete demolishing of Secret right now. They're destroying EHOME.
Not really sure how they're supposed to recover from this position because things have been slowed down dramatically, especially after that mid-fight. The Bat Rider, who's at 1500 gold, suddenly another 100 gold behind, and he has to reset the timing because he was dead. Ice. Maybe they could have waited for his level 6 before they decided to make that engagement. Instead, he's got to wait for it, and Secret now have pretty firm control of this game.
I mean, EHOME at this point, right, you want to be able to tank up Death Prophet, Bristleback. These kind of heroes thrive on being able to survive longer and longer throughout a team fight and outputting some pretty good damage over time, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to be happening faster than Secret game damage.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Doom in this tournament, but it just hasn't been effective for them at all. He just now turns level 6 with 12 minutes in, and he's been participating in 1 kill. He didn't really offer anything on top lane. They didn't win the lane. On the contrary, he got all the farm he needed, and Old 11 has had a rough game throughout this. partly because of his own bad decision making.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Top lane, it looks like EHOME, they want to set up for this, and they know they want to try to get aggressive. They're already cutting behind the tower. Old Chicken hasn't popped the ultimate quite yet, but Secret might just decide to go for the trade as Arteezy and Universe are setting up here. Something I want to highlight too, support players just not getting enough credit as Puppy 1-0 at 9, positioning wise has just been on point this game.
I mean, think of that earn pickup. He's so rich.
Even when getting stopped in his track by the Winter Wyvern ultimate in the middle lane, he gets off a decent Echo Slam that hits on 2 targets in the middle of a creep wave. Something that shouldn't happen.
Set up with this bottom push.
See how fast the tower dies.
Fisher into the Sunstrike. Bonham already at half HP, and he didn't even get hit by that Furion ult.
Looks like they're just going to reset, go for this mid-tier 2 tower instead. No reason to all-in commit for that tier 3 at bottom, especially when you've already got firm control of the map.
Animitis is here for Universe, but Secret, despite having some of these big farming items, they're not slowing down one bit. They're going to keep on pushing EHOME out of their comfort zone as they take more of these tier 2 towers. And every single time Lonham shows his face, pushes a little bit too far forward, trying to stop Secret. Again, feels the combo of this magic damage. Now he's going to be stunned up. The Cold Embrace is only buying him a little bit of time. Puppy starts charging for it, but a really good silence is laid out from Old Chicken. But still, the Finger of Death cuts through the Bristleback once again, and Secret are able to retreat with no losses.
They just haven't been able to get this Bristleback really involved, and whenever he does show up, he's immediately the recipient of a Finger of Death on the other side, or a Sunstrike. They don't have the best ways to save him either. They have the Winter's, the Cold Embrace, and maybe the turnaround Winter's Curse, but Secret have plenty of magic damage to bring him down.
Yeah, and Pilot Eye just patiently waiting for the Cold Embrace. I think he could have actually just fired it off immediately. But look at the farm on all of Secret. The Universe actually opts to pick up a Hand of Midas just to ensure the snowball.
Got the Blink Dagger now on Pilot Eye. A fully completed Aghanim Scepter for the Invoker. EHOME. They're gonna go for the smoke right now. Probably not exactly the situation where they would want to do it, considering how far behind they are in item timings, but desperate times.
And it really does limit their movement with this tier 1, and the mid lane is still up. EHOME are going to cut through the Dire jungle, but we can see Secret just hiding behind their towers. No real chance for EHOME to get the pick off or surprise team fight that they desperately needed to be able to come back.
It almost looked like everybody from Secret, by the way, disconnected because they were just waiting, essentially, because they knew that EHOME was smoked. Nothing was really being farmed, nobody was showing on the map. They figured, okay, it's better for us to just wait things out. Puppy pings around that tower. They're going to go for the counter smoke of their own as everybody now reveals themselves in this top lane, and a line is being drawn now by EHOME. Maybe they suspect. And this might be an okay opportunity for them as there's only 3 heroes here.
And the ideal situation for them right now is getting that Winter Wyvern ulti put to maximum use, potentially just killing off Puppy or Arteezy on the Invoker right away by their own teammates, and then getting Doom on the other important target. And then for them to extend the fight long enough that Death Prophet takes down the still squishy targets of Nature's Prophet and Drow Ranger.
Winter Wyvern does play pretty well into those hands, right? The increased damage from the Drow Ranger is only going to play against them when the Winter's Curse comes in, but we have yet to see a really strong Winter's Curse from Fenrir.
Yep. And they just can't allow themselves to focus on the Invoker right now, because he's the tankiest of all on Secret, and he has that. Oh, okay, yeah, he's just expired, so that's now they can start focusing him again, actually. But even then, there's so much disable up on the Lion and the Earthshaker, which is sort of ironic because it's historically a support duel that Larnum especially has gone throughout EHOME history, tracing all the way back to 2010. This was how the Chinese teams played. They got these 2 heroes that was full of disables and crowd control.
Winter Wyvern pushing out that top lane. Ice. Trying to looks like he's going for the mech, something we don't see often, just because you don't really have the mana pool to support. Maybe even just going for the Vlads and going for the casual buckler probably makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the casual buckler from Puppy. Looks like they're going to be able to run into Pilot. Oh no! Quick fingers from Pilot Die allows him to blink back in time.
And Puppy is only 500 gold away from that Blink Dagger.
what do you even do at that point if you're like someone like Death Prophet who's hoping to be able to get the good exorcism and push out and survive for a while in this team fight? Now there's an opportunity for Secret when they have that blink to jump on her and instantly blow her up.
Yeah, they've got a lot of gap closing on her, and when you play as a Death Prophet, it's not the best scenario when you've got things that can instantly disable, especially when both supports can have a Hex. Just means that you just need 2 heroes at any phase of the game to get kills. Like Universe can just TP in if an Echo opportunity is set up, for example. Secret, they're gonna smoke up behind this Invoker, trying to scout out the jungle and maybe find any way to pick off a hero so that they can go high ground. But it looks like EHOME kind of understand what's going on here.
Oh, the finisher lands! The beautiful setup from Secret. Whoa! The combination of abilities just allows for him to be able to kill Ice before he even realizes he's dead.
That was fast. I definitely didn't expect him to be able to...
Like, 1 second, there's smokes, the next second, Fisher, Sunstrike, and Finger of Death, and he's gone.
It wasn't even like he was terribly out of position. He was barely outside the base, but EHOME just can't really do anything about it. They don't really have any of those counter disables of their own. If you look at the rest of their lineup, they so heavily rely on being able to start the fight, rather than being able to counter the fight.
And even if Secret commits their entire lineup for that kill, it doesn't really matter all too much because they force EHOME to be inside of their base. And Universe, of course, on the Nature's Prophet then gets to farm on the top lane, knowing that EHOME needs to stay within their base.
Yeah, exactly. It's just creating pressure all around the map. And this is one of Nature's Prophet's best strengths, is that he can just send summons top, you deal with it, then it opens up a little bit more of the jungle.
I like how nasty Artur farming in the Radiant jungle like this and having his Forge Spirits positioned so far forward. He's even got the Tornado, you know, ready to go just in case. It's like a panic button if EHOME all of a sudden get the jump on him. He still has a way to be able to escape, and they're just getting so much information.
So Secret's plan now is just to constantly have the creep waves on the Radiant side of the map, constantly keeping tabs of where EHOME would be and not allowing them to have any openings through a Bad Rider gank. We see Universe picking up or going for a Aghanim Scepter on the Nature's Prophet. That combined with the Draw Aura is just gonna keep the creep waves constantly flowing into the...
Fenrir caught!
To the Radiant base.
It's not even a question. It's not even a question at this point. Is Secret find a hero? There's really no hope for an escape from anybody for EHOME. It's now Ice gonna be the one spotted out. Fisher leads the way. The physical damage has no problem
Scarcely worth my notice.
keeping Doom down. Old 11 is gonna try and get himself out. Still has the blink, so he will stay ahead of Universe. But Secret, I think they just found the opening required for them to confidently take the tier 2 at top.
Yeah, they've almost got the Blink Dagger now on the Earthshaker 2. Not a whole lot of time left for that one, but right now EHOME trying to do whatever they can, just keep the game going. Maybe wait for Secret to get overconfident and try to go for an ill-advised high ground. But Roshan is up, and it's probably going to be the next objective as soon as they take out this tier 2 tower.
And Secret is playing very disciplined. It's like a systematic dismantling of EHOME. Wherever they go on the map, as soon as they go outside of their base, they're just gonna be found by Pilot, and of course Universe always ready on the TP. Going in for their second Roshan now.
I know the smokes have failed, but it is a little bit surprising to me that Secret, because they're playing such a control-heavy game at this point, that EHOME aren't like just trying to run in Secret and see, you know, what changes. You know, maybe because at this point we're just looking at this, they're being suffocated, right? You've got double the net worth on the Invoker over both the Death Prophet as well as the Bristleback.
Yeah. I mean, with controlling the net worth they have right now, this was just what they needed. They needed to pick up that Aegis in order for them not to overcommit and possibly go away their lead. And then at the same time you have Poppy who picks up his Blink Dagger and hits that magical level at 11 where Earthshaker's ultimate just becomes even better. So I think they're in full ability to push down the EHOME base, but they don't even need to. Like, that's the biggest thing here. They have the much better late game, they have the much better control, and they're so far ahead that for EHOME to catch up is almost impossible at this point.
Yeah, things are just kind of getting out of hand right now. As the Death Prophet at one point had 1,200 gold maybe 7 minutes ago on top of that drums. Hasn't really found very many advancement opportunities as they just kind of keep flitting between the lanes, trying to get whatever they can out of the first 2 camps without going too far away. And look at how much they can farm with impunity because they know there's so much presence on the map for them instantly. If Pilot Die finds something on the map, you just simply stun, get the Sunstrike off, the Nature's Prophet can ultimate, that's a kill every single time.
Now, the meanwhile, tier 3s are being chipped away. Universe is only going to amp that up now that he's got the Aghanim Scepter.
I didn't even realize that the score was 16-2, and I believe nothing has really happened in the last few minutes. Both with 11 at top, trying to look for something, but
he's got to play kind of that long con where he's going to sit in the trees for a really long time, wait for somebody from Secret to push just a bit too far and try and strike on that opportunity. Unfortunately, we see Secret rotating out as a 3-man crew, and now we're going to cut across to mid.
Would you get impatient and try and force the issue, Will? If you're Secret, do you feel like you're so much in control that you might as well go knocking on the front door?
I mean, they're just taking so much of the map right now that I don't think it matters. They're passively gaining a ton of gold at top. Look again, the
They
combo.
can still get pickoffs. The Sunstrike is going to be enough. It is. Oh man, Arteezy is so far ahead in levels that the damage is too much. Pylon Die is going to be caught. That's the turnaround kill. And you almost have to wonder that's actually worth it for EHOME simply because of the fact that Secret are so far ahead.
It is worth it for them. They just got almost 1,000 gold for that kill. I think it's well worth it for them, especially since it's one of those morale boosters too. You pick up a kill, you think, okay, maybe Secret will continue to do stuff like that and they'll trade favorably for us.
They are going to have the mech, so
Secret gets like a 5% addition to their kill score, whereas EHOME's was a
that is
drastic
one way to look at
33%,
it.
so
There's one positive way to look at it. Another positive way, Doom will have a mech quite soon. Increase in sustain, a little bit of armor as well. Should help against some of these right clicks.
But that just tells the tale of this game, right? They have a Doombringer, we are almost 25 minutes into the game and he hasn't completed his first item with his mechanism.
Both 11, scouts out some of these things, goes for the seeking EHOME to start pulling back Eternal Envy, but a 3-man fissure, now the full 2-man impale. Highlight is going to be shielded up, but everything goes set up for Puppy to come in for the Echo Slam. Bonne's going to be run down by Artur, the Fury Zone comes in, puts old 11 low enough that they can get that kill as well, and they're just planning to wipe EHOME if possible. There it is, a buyback for the Wyvern, but you can't stop Secret. It'll end on a good old 3-2-2 for game number 1 between Secret and EHOME.
That's some good old fan service by EHOME, letting it get to that point, calling it quits. First time I've seen 2 of the greater trains as well with that Nature Shock ultimate, but dominant performance in game
Arteezy
number
actually
1.
topped plus 300 damage in that push.
Gentlemen, what happened? I mean, this was game number 1, but it was such a dominant game number 1 from Secret.